Right. Now, falling in love is such a beautiful thing. To be loved is even more beautiful. Sometimes meeting the parents of our partners can be such a task. This morning I have with me Dr. Love, also known as Dr. Benjamin Menu. He is from the Kingdom Life Cathedral and is also a marriage made simple. And I also have Samuel Awuni, who's a youth activist and executive director for I Innovation Foundation. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Now I know you're married, but I'm not so sure about you, Samuel.
I'm single.
Okay. So let me start with you. Did you have to seek parental consent?
Yes,
before?
I did. I when I saw my wife, I spoke to my dad about it first.
Okay. Were you just informing him, or you wanted his approval?
I wanted its approval, although I've made my mind already.
You had made up your mind.
But I wanted its approval because the blessing,
of course,
is very important.
So could you have changed your mind? Is there anything you would have said that would have changed your mind? I know you're saying that you had already made up your mind, so all you wanted was his blessing.
Yeah.
But at that point, when you informed him, if he had said something to kind of suggest that he wasn't happy with that choice, would you have changed your mind?
If he had tangible proofs of something that I would think about it, because most of the times the young people, they fall in love and they stop using their head. Many fall in love because they are love hungry, and then they stop using their mind. So, and parents have seen a good parent should be able to guide his child into good marriage. Very important.
Because they're experienced, they've been there, and they may see certain things that you have not seen. Okay. So, what about you? Would you, if you were to find that special somebody, would you seek your parents' consent?
Obviously, I would. You can never underestimate or rule out the importance of family. God knows the reason why He actually channeled us through parents. God could have just created us single-handedly, just like Adam and Eve, but He took us through a parent system. Therefore, the parent serves as a check to us. Therefore, we must also consult them whenever you're about to take such decision. Sometimes you find parents being a bit difficult when it comes to the choice of partner you want to be with. It's unfortunate, however, but they have lived their life before you have. So it's best also listen to their side of the story before you go into any attempt of getting married to whoever you want to. So you can never underestimate or rule out the significance of the parents
when it comes to choosing a life partner.
Definitely.
Now, you mentioned difficulties, that some parents can be very difficult sometimes. So what kind of thing would you say or statement would they make for you to think, okay, this is not a very this argument doesn't hold? I mean, this is not good enough reason for you not to want me to be involved with this person. What kind of difficult statements?
Before I will introduce my partner to my parents, first and foremost, I might have been with her for a very long time.
So you would have studied her for
exactly, and they might not understand it from that point. They will also want to look at it from another angle altogether. It's up to you to let them know what you feel or what you think about your spouse. Being difficult sometimes could also be a check to you. Maybe you might be wrong with the partner that you are choosing. So being controlling or sometimes condemning your relationship or whatever could also be in the right direction somewhat, at least awaken you to look at certain things that you might have ignored.
Okay. Dr. Love, what do you
think? Most parents are able to pick up signals. Divorce signs shows up before marriage.
Really?
Yes, they do. Because, there are signals you'll be seeing in the person you're dating. And those signals, they don't change. Whoever you are, you take into marriage. So your parents will be observant. She comes in, she's not nice. She goes to the hall. Mother is in the kitchen as a lady.
She will help her.
You go, she's very professional. She wants to eat certain kind of food. You can't afford it. Certain pressure. If you marry a demanding woman, you end up being a thief. If you marry a lazy man, you end up being a liability. So some of these things the parents see, but when we're in love, we don't see these things, and our parents are able to see those things. Sometimes they can be a little difficult, but if you want to win the heart of your future in-laws, you can things you can do.
Okay, what about some of the difficult parents, like he was saying earlier, and you made a point about you've gone to the house, my mommy's in the kitchen and you won't go and help. What if maybe at that point in time you're also a professional woman, maybe you have some work to do, so maybe you're in the study or you're in your room and you're also on your laptop, you're doing some work or something, and you're unable to help her at that point in time. So because of that, mommy says, this relationship is not going to work.
It's a consistent thing. You're always coming around, you're very apathy, high profile, you don't want to do certain things. People are observant. When you marry, it's not going to change. That's why a lot of high profile ladies are having difficulty in marriages now. A lot of them.
But wouldn't you also say that's a bit ancient? Like times have changed. You don't necessarily. Not every woman cooks these days. So what if you are one of those men who don't really mind? Like Benny, for instance, he's a fantastic cook, and I'd like to think that he'd want to cook for his wife or his girlfriend or whatever. So he doesn't mind if his wife doesn't go to the kitchen. But mommy is very, mommy is mommy. She's been around, and all she knows is that a woman's space is the kitchen. So if she's here and she's not coming to help out in the kitchen, then she's not good enough.
A woman does not belong in the kitchen. It's being sensitive. You come around, you go to mommy. I'm a little busy, but I'll be with you. You're sensitive. Hey, mom, how are you doing? You give her a hug. Love you. Nice to see you.
So not necessarily helping her to chop the onions and tomatoes.
No. My wife, I do most of the cooking. I love to cook, but being sensitive. A good woman must be balanced. You must be able to wear the corporate hat, come to the house and be a wife. Wow. A man should be able to work, be a church guy and be able to work in the corporate world and come home and be a husband. So if you don't have all these traits and you enter into the relationship, there's going to be a lot of headache. When the wrong foundation, and the foundation is wrong, it's going to affect the marriage. It's going to affect. That's a lot of marriages are shaking now because they married by love and wisdom was absent.
Okay. Hold that thought for a second. Let's cross over now to Studio C, where Kevin is standing by. He has some comments on this very issue. He'll tell us exactly what people are saying about this topic. Hi, Kevin.
I'm loving the conversation, especially the part where I think he said if you marry a demanding wife, you end up being a thief. That was actually quite interesting. Okay, so we've been asking you to share your comments on the conversation, and we asked you how much influence would you allow your parents to have in choosing your spouse. And Arhin Patrick is saying very little, for they are not at where I'm working, where I might choose her from. They will only give the go ahead. And AJ Richard is saying, no way, I would never let my mom choose my life partner for me because my mom doesn't know the kind of woman I want to be with. Impossible. Very interesting there. He is saying no way, that can never happen. And Munaf Waliku is saying too much influence arising from parents or family members may make one fall behind the marriage circle. Okay, let's see what some others are saying. James Bosco says, since they know better than I do, whatever they say will be considered. Okay, he is willing to listen to his parents no matter what they say. Let's see. Al Hassan Fatau says okay, I think we've lost Al Hassan. Okay, he says, to me, in full influence, because it will ease pressure on me whatever happened in future. Let's take a couple more. And Anthony Kofi is saying just 20% for the marriage rite that will be performed. I don't know if he's trying to say financial contributions to the marriage rite. Okay, Ransford Mills said 0 because I'm the one dating her. Osipito Ohene Oposu is saying just 11%. So those are your comments for if you will let your parents have influence in the woman you're dating. We'll go back to Sandra, who's going to continue with the conversation.
Right, so we're talking about parental influence in choosing a spouse. And I was just asking my guest, I was saying earlier on that you're the one who's going to have to be living with this person for the rest of your life. You have to deal with them. So basically, it's really up to you to decide who that person should be. So why should you really seek or, why should it be so important what somebody else, be your parents or whoever, says about whoever you're going to be with?
Yeah. You realize that most parents want to really live their lives in their kids, and what they couldn't achieve or get whilst they were young, they want their kids to at least have the benefits of
that. Or to not make the same mistakes that they
made. Yes, I like that.
Yeah. So normally they are guided by these things, and that's the reason why they are more involved in any relationship that you want to be in. And looking at our type of system in Africa and Ghana particularly, you just don't get married to the guy or the girl. You get married to the whole family, both the nuclear and the extended family and everybody's involved. Unlike the developed countries where you can just have a secret wedding and then you can't do that here in Africa, and particularly in Ghana.
So your family's blessing is very important.
Very, very important. Very important.
And I also add that if you need to get those signals that one part of the family or sort of is not in agreement to your relationship or
so let me not cut you short of but there are some people or some mothers or fathers, parents, or even some of the extended family who you can't trust. You can't please them.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody.
You just cannot please them.
You
And
can't please everybody.
just something little about your spouse that or your intended spouse that they do not like.
But
For
you get
example, your
majority
mother may
vote,
give you an example. Maybe I saw her one day and her skirt was just a little bit too short, so you can't marry her. Things like that. You just can't please them. So what do you do?
But at a point, you must compromise and also factor in what they have to say as well, whilst taking them to guide your steps and all that. So I wouldn't totally rule out the fact that you should just ignore them and then go ahead with the marriage. But at a point, you should advise yourself if you're going to get those signals and indicators from your parents or from your spouse parents. You're going to get those signals.
So you're saying that in as much as possible, try and get the approval of blessing.
Exactly, before
very important.
If there has to be some compromise somewhere or there, but don't do away without it.
Exactly.
Even if you watch the old days, and the old days when they choose wives and stuff for them, the marriages stayed a long time. These days we are choosing our own spouses. It's not even working. About 80% are in trouble. If you check the marriages that are out there, 90% of marriages are in trouble.
Why is this?
Many are enduring because the foundations are wrong. When the foundations are wrong, the building is going to collapse.
Maybe they didn't listen to advice.
They didn't listen. A lot of preparation. It's your preparation that determines your performance. So if you don't prepare well and I'm in love because she got big hips or she has a lot of money, you must check the foundations of all these things. The parents are able to examine and investigate. Dating time is investigation. They don't investigate. They see the day at work, you look nice, wow, she's beautiful, they fall in love and they start having sex before they realize they want to get married. It's too premature. Maturity is not age. Maturity is development, and your parents know whether you are mature or you are still a child.
Really?
Yes.
Samuel, do you agree that your parents must determine at what age you are matured or?
No, the parents know whether you are mature. The way you are acting, if you're not responsible, maturity is responsibility, development, exposure. If you're not developed or exposed, and you take a spouse, you kill her. You're not ready. You just want to have sex. You're not ready for it.
Yeah,
is that what marriage is all about?
Most people don't have sex now. They don't know marriage.
You don't have to get married to have sex.
Yeah, but sex outside marriage is wrong. But I mean, according to the Bible, it's wrong because
you marry and then
you marry
sex.
and you have all the sex you want. But sex before marriage
doesn't work this way.
It doesn't work. That's why the foundations are collapsing because those who have sex before marriage, when they marry, they can't have good sex.
Do you think some of these age-old problems, mother-in-law problems, has to do with the foundation, like he's saying, like not seeking parental consent or blessings or approval in the beginning? I mean, let's not. We can't say that. We all know about the problems of mothers-in-law and daughters and all of that. So do you think maybe because they didn't get along in the beginning, she didn't approve or she didn't give her blessing? That's why now they're having all these issues.
Yeah. That's how I stated that when you get married, you didn't just get married to the one wife, one husband, the extended family. So their input is also very, very important. You might think the input might not be that strong at the point that you think you are in love, but as time goes on, you realize that their influence is extremely strong when it comes to the extended version of the family. So factoring them and what they have to say is very, very key. And the mother-in-laws and the father-in-laws, as you clearly stated, they also have a vital role to play in the relationship. Initial stages, when you begin to realize certain things wrong, or they believe that whatever you are getting into is not right, and they begin to condemn it, come into, try to influence it and all that. Start learning those signals very, very early, at a very early stage, and advise yourself if you want to go ahead with it. The best step to move on with it. If you want to quit, you quit and then you move away. It's better than getting involved and then at the end of the day you can't get out of it. Because not like the Western world where you can just get up and get divorced. The divorce again, you have to come back to the family again. The extended family again have to come in with the divorce and all that. So get into a relationship or into a marriage, you must factor all these people and accommodate them before you make the final.
You can give it a lot of headache. Yeah. Getting married is very easy, but staying married takes a lot of work.
Exactly.
So if you don't get these blessings, you're gonna be killing each other. And it's very important that you use your head. Fall in love, but use your head. Don't leave your head behind. Think, watch signals. Dating time is investigation. You're going to stay. Love is not enough to get married, because when you marry to a person, after a few years, that love is a feeling. It comes and it goes. Wisdom here, knowledge here.
So you can be in love this week and next week.
No, there are times you don't. Those who are married are watching us today. There are times you don't feel like getting married. There are times you want to be alone. You just forget about marriage. I want to be by myself.
That's a single people.
As a married person, there are times you don't feel like staying married. You understand? But you remember the covenant and you stay married. So if you're thinking about feelings, her body's going to change, her hair is going to be falling out, her teeth is going to start shaking, her breast will shake. You understand? All these things are going to be there. And there is a time where feelings are not enough.
People's teeth shake?
Yeah, you grow older. Okay. Take pictures. You know, if you want to see how your girlfriend is going to look like, look at her mother. Take pictures to manipulate to get their blessing. Do it to get their blessing, so that you don't end up having an accident in marriage.
I see. Someone like I don't even have to ask you. I know you definitely be seeking your parents' blessings before.
Though I'm not married yet, I'm going to get those kind of pressure and other things. We want you to see who the lady is and all that. And I'm like, before I introduce her, you have to be sure. I can't just introduce anybody to you just because you want to see someone. If I should introduce her to you right now and then later on we don't gel and there's a breakup, how would you feel and all that? Maybe by then you might be so interested in her that the next person I bring you might not like.
Exactly.
Yeah. So normally parents give much pressure when it comes to that. I want to see your girlfriend, I want to see your boyfriend and all that. When you do that, you pressurize the person to bring in the wrong person, who you might later on like, and then when they bring in the right person, you might go like, no, this girl is this girl is that, I prefer this to that, and brings a lot of problems. Even though I'm not yet married, I'm going to face some of this.
Convince them.
Yeah,
you convince them. You have to convince your parents that she is good, mom. I think this.
So even if in the beginning there's a kind of block, or your parents, are not happy, you don't just have to just take their word for it and just.
No, you have to convince them.
You should try and
observe her, and then you tell the lady.
For how long?
Oh, it depends how. And tell the guy get close to her. Yeah. So you do it. My mom likes my wife to come to the house and then get around her. You don't want to come and sit in the kitchen and sit in the hall and start drinking juice and all of that. Come to her, hey, mom, what you saying? That kind of a thing. So if you start acting very uppity, and
so basically just form a relationship.
And use your head. Be smart, because you are entering into a family. You're going to marry not just the person but the whole family. So if they're against you, you are in a war.
Right, okay. Thank you very much for your time this morning, gentlemen. My guests have been Dr. Love, popularly known as Dr. Love. His real name is Dr. Benjamin Menu. He's from the Kingdom Life Cathedral, and also Marriage Made Simple. And I also had Samuel Awuni, who's a youth activist and also the executive director of Youth Eye Innovation Foundation. And we've been talking about seeking parental consent or blessings in choosing a spouse. This has been Living It, and of course it was proudly brought to you by Lipton Tea, the world's favorite tea brand, and also Malcolm Stores.